Welcome back to another USD 239 School Update. I'm Superintendent Chris Vignery, and today I have with me Heather Mettlen. She is a Youth Program Coordinator for the Salina Public Library, and today we're going to continue on with the topic that we've been discussing the last 2 months, early childhood literacy, which Heather has a lot to do with that here at the Salina Public Library. So we're going to start and welcome and thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And can you explain a little bit what is early literacy?
I sure can. So early literacy, or early learning as it's sometimes called, a lot of times confuses people because I think when you think of literacy, you think teaching someone to read. And that's really not what early literacy is. Early literacy is teaching or helping your children with the skills needed to learn to read later on. So we basically say it's everything your child needs to know about reading and writing before they can actually read and write. So that would be how to hold a book, print awareness that we read left to right, things like that.
So why do we consider this important?
Well, so early literacy is important. 90% of a child's brain development happens before they're 5 years old. So studies have shown that children who are exposed to reading and language between the ages of birth and 5 tend to excel in reading later in life. And so developing those early literacy skills makes it easier for them to learn to read once they do enter school. And then they, of course, have the advantage that carries on, with them throughout school. Studies are showing that 1 in 3 American children are entering kindergarten without the skills needed to learn to read. And these kids are usually not reading, as I'm sure you know, at grade level by grade 3 or 3rd grade. And so what we like to say, so 3rd grade is a critical marker for academic achievement later in life. And so we typically will say that children up to 3rd grade are learning to read, and then after 3rd grade are reading to learn. So if they're not reading at grade level, they do struggle. They continue to struggle going on to catch up to grade level work in all areas. So not just reading, but math and science and social studies, because they do have to have strong reading skills after 3rd grade.
Absolutely. So if I'm a parent of a child that was just born or not quite in school yet, what are some of the skills that I should be looking for with my child or helping my child to attain?
Sure. So the first one that I'll talk to you about is called phonological awareness. And I brought some props with me. So phonological awareness is just the ability to hear and play with smaller sounds in words. So rhyming books like Dr. Seuss are really good for that because they do repeat, they're repetitive, and so they repeat the same words over and over again. Mouse, house, house, mouse. And so your child can hear that those words rhyme, and you're just repeating red, Ned, Ted, so they learn, how to play with those. Another way to help with that would be, silly songs like, I don't know if you've ever heard the apples and bananas song, but playing with that vowel sound. So when you say apples and bananas or eeples and baninis, opals and bononos, even though they're not real words and they're funny words, it makes learning, those words or learning that skill a lot of fun. And then the next thing would be narrative skills. And what that is the ability to know story structure. So the beginning, middle, and end of a story, and then being able to independently replicate that. And the easiest way to help with that would be when you're reading a story to just say, what character did we meet first? And that requires your child to place in order the characters that they read about in their book, and which one did we meet first? And you can also help them with that by just narrating your day. What did we do first thing this morning? Well, we woke up. You're right, we did. We woke up, and after we woke up, what did we do? Well, we brushed our teeth. You're right, we brushed our teeth. And before we went to the park, what did we do? And then that requires them to kind of go through the motions of their day and place those in order of events. Another thing would be print motivation. Print motivation is just knowing the use of books, what we do with books, what they're used for, that we read left to right. Print is everywhere, so really this is pretty easy to work on. You can point out words just in the world, you know, street signs when you're at the grocery store, when you're reading a book, you know, pointing to the words as you read them, that helps with print motivation. Vocabulary is a big one that you need to work on. This is probably the least fun, but the most important. Children need to know the names of things, the names of feelings, the names of places, and then new words. So the easiest way that I work on this, I have a 4-year-old, and the easiest way that we worked on this when she was small, if she would say milk, you know, instead of I want some milk, I would just reply, do you want some milk? Or fire truck. You're right, that is a fire truck. That's a big red fire truck. You know, so just working on words. Another thing would be, you know, finger plays. If you, you know, take Itsy Bitsy Spider, for example. Kids probably don't know what a water spout is, but by doing that song repetitively, they learn that a water spout is a tube that water flows through and a spider can come out the bottom. So that introduces them to new vocabulary. Letter knowledge. This is also extremely important for future reading, knowing that letters have names and that they have sounds. My preschooler really struggled with this because a lot of letters look the same. You know, a U and a V kind of look the same. So it's trickier than I think we realize as parents, because different fonts make different letters look, or the same letter look different. Is it capitalized? Is it a small letter? And so just reading a ton of alphabet books is very helpful for that. You know, and so just reading, you know, A is for apple, B is for banana, but just pointing out the letters and just continuing to kind of show them just different kinds of alphabet books is very helpful for that. And then another thing that would be helpful is if your kid likes to finger paint or enjoys getting messy, you could have them trace letters in applesauce. If you're like me and you don't like mess, something very simple that you can make, we actually made this in one of my Brainy Babies classes. This is just hair gel and food coloring in a Ziploc bag. Put some tape on it so they can't open it, but they can like sort of finger paint but without any mess and trace their letters and that. So just knowing that, you know, this is an O and just practicing that letter recognition. And then last would be print awareness. And that again is just, what is a book? What does it do? How do we read a book? What is, you know, what does this mean? Sure. And so just showing them that you enjoy reading to them, you know, involving them in how you hold a book. You know, babies tend to like to put books in their mouth, and that's okay because they're learning what a book is used for. But those are the 6 most critical things.
Well, thank you.
No problem.
Well, we've covered a lot here in a short time. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with the conclusion of the show, and we'll see you in a bit.
Eagle Marketing Solutions can help you advertise in your local communities or reach thousands in the region with TV and online marketing.
Eagle Communications, on community connected.
Welcome back to the second half of our show here. Once again, I'm with Heather Mettlen, who is the youth coordinator for the Salina Public Library. We're talking about early literacy. Just some follow up with some final thoughts here. You know, what are some ways that parents can help with literacy at home?
Yeah, so the most important thing, you know, talk to your kids a lot. You know, talking is teaching. By talking to your child, you're building their brain development. You know, and talking to a child with a variety of words is going to help them learn to talk. You know, with babies, it seems funny to talk to them because they don't talk back. But, you know, say their name a lot. Talk to them during bath time, talk to them during feeding, sing them lullabies. You can talk to them during diaper changes. This is how your child's going to not only learn your daily routine, but then also learn to talk, you know, as well. You know, with older kids, again, you can, you know, just add on to what they're saying. So if they're throwing a fit, you know, you can say, are you mad? Are you sad? You're giving that feeling that they're feeling a name. when you're eating, you can, I mean, it seems very silly sometimes, but my children are 4 and 7 and I still over narrate everything. But when they were little, you're eating your green peas, with your spoon. That's a spoon that you're using. Can you get your fork? While making dinner, you can say, put your kid in the high chair and say, we're going to make dinner. First, we've got to get out our pots and pans and our ingredients. And ingredients are the things that we're going to use to make our food. And then talk about the food. This is a carrot. Doesn't it smell sweet? It's orange. And just narrate those things. And that's how they're going to learn, vocabulary. The second thing that you can do is just read, read to your child. When your child is small, you don't have to, they have a short attention span, so they may not want to sit through a story and, because they have a lot of words. So, you don't have to read the words on the page. You could just look at the book and see what the pictures are doing, and draw your own conclusions and make up your own story. You don't have to read the words. You can, kind of make up your own story. You don't have to read them a picture book. You can read them what you're reading. My husband used to read my son Sports Illustrated magazines when he was a baby at bedtime. So just, when they see that you love reading and that you're making reading a part of your daily routine, they will learn to love and appreciate books as well. And then the last thing would be to play. Play is often overlooked because people don't think that play has a part in literacy. But play is so important because it's how children learn to express themselves. It's how they learn to tell stories. With playing, this is how they learn sequencing. Dramatic play is really important. So you could play restaurant. And if you're playing restaurant with your child, they're going to learn, letter knowledge, narrative skills, print motivation, all of that just by taking orders, reading a menu, making the food and serving you the food. They're learning all of that. So play is also very important. You can play I Spy games. I spy something red. I spy something that starts with an S sound, and things like that. And so that's very important as well.
That's good. That's good. So in conclusion, what advice do you have for parents, of babies, toddlers, preschoolers?
Yeah. So I would say just don't give up. Don't get frustrated. Don't get discouraged. It doesn't have to be this gung-ho, I'm going to come and, change our whole routine. We're going to change everything. You can make very small changes to start. Even if you think that your baby is too old, your child is too old to start, they're never too old to start reading and playing and just talking to them. And so just don't get frustrated. Add little things throughout your day. Like I said, I narrate everything probably over because it's just such a habit now. To narrate those things with my kids. And then, if you don't know where to start, reach out to your local librarian. We have resources that can help you with that. And also there are tons of websites devoted to early literacy that can give you tips and tricks and, things that you might not have thought of.
Well, good. Well, thank you. I do definitely appreciate your time here today. This was a wealth of knowledge, and we just thank you. And like Heather said, if you have questions, reach out to the library. Also, you can contact the school district, and I can put you in touch with our parents as teachers coordinator. Just understand the importance of early literacy with your child, and it's just something that we just probably can't say enough of, the importance of it. So if you have questions, please once again reach out to our school, and we'll get in touch with get you in touch with the people that we need to get you in touch with. But appreciate your time today, and until we meet again, we'll see you next month. Thank you.